Blossom by Mary Oliver. In April, the ponds open like black blossoms. The moon swims in every one. There's fire everywhere. Frogs shouting their desire, their satisfaction. What we know, that time chops at us all like an iron hoe, that death is a state of paralysis. What we long for, joy before death, nights in the swale, everything else can wait, but not this thrust from the root of the body. What we know, we are more than blood, we are more than our hunger, and yet we belong to the moon, and when the ponds open, when the burning begins, the most thoughtful among us dreams of hurrying down into the black petals, into the fire, into the night where time lies shattered, into the body of another.
Happy Easter again, y'all. This week, I wanted to pick the perfect song to transition from the sermon into the worship portion of the service with, and I landed on this evangelical hymn, or it's typically an evangelical hymn, and it worships the cross, which is not unusual in the evangelical church. It is unusual if you think about it. Worshipping the cross is like worshipping an electric chair or a gas chamber. This was a tool of genocide. This was a tool of execution. So it's really weird that evangelicals worship it, but that's another point in a sermon. What it reminded me of is that Jesus did not see the fruits of his efforts in his lifetime. And that is a powerful message for us on the front lines. It's easy to get discouraged with the condition of this world. It's easy to get discouraged with the reality of our governments. But we have to remember that even if we don't see this brave, new, loving, and just world come to pass, that it's our responsibility to pass the torch on to the next generation. And if we can exemplify these moral truths in our actions, and we can get the coming generation to adopt them into their ambitions, then hope can never be extinguished. And that's the power of the gospel. That's the power of resurrection. Let's sing this song together. When I survey the wondrous cross on which the Prince of Glory died, my richest gain I count but loss, and pour contempt on all my pride. See draw near to bless your way. Were the whole realm of nature mine, that were an offering far too small. Love so amazing, so divine, demands my soul, my life, my all. Oh, the wonderful cross. Oh, the wonderful cross. Bids me come and die and find that I may truly live. Oh, the wonderful cross. Oh, the wonderful cross. All who gather here by grace draw near to bless your way. Oh, the wonderful cross. Oh, the wonderful cross. Bids me come and die and find that I may truly live. Oh, the wonderful cross. Oh, the wonderful cross. All who gather here by grace draw near to bless your way. Happy Easter.
There's a song that's inside of my soul. It's the one that I've tried to write over and over again. I'm awake in the infinite cold, but you sing to me over and over and over again. So I lay my head back down and I lift my hands and pray to be only yours. I pray to be only yours. I know now you're my only hope. Sing to me the song of the stars, of your galaxies dancing and laughing again. When it feels like my dreams are so far, sing to me of the plans that you have for me over again. So I lay my head back down and I lift my hands and pray to be only yours. I pray to be only yours. I know now you're my only hope. I give you my destiny. I'm giving you all of me. I want your symphony.
Hello everybody, my name is Pablo for those who don't know me. I've been assisting to this church a year and a half ago, and I've been working at it since April last year. I'm also part of the board of the church, and as board members we have a meeting every week. And this week Christopher asks someone to volunteer to do communion, and I volunteered. When I started this, or when I thought about it, I thought it was going to be an easy communion video. But when I started prepping for this, I realized that we are living in a strange time, in a special time. This is a special Easter Sunday, a Sunday or an Easter that most of us haven't experienced. And this is my take on it. I have to say that these are not my ideas. But I feel very strongly and I relate very strongly to them. And yeah, let's start. I'm gonna start with a hypothesis, and I have my notes on my left here, so I'm gonna be looking on my left here. There is an insistence in Christianity that the Logos is two things at once. Logos existed at the beginning of time and it still exists within us. There is something about consciousness that calls forth being from chaotic potential. And we can see this in the stories at the beginning in the Bible, in Genesis, when God extracted habitable order out of chaotic potential. You all understand this because when you see the future, you know what you confront is a field of potential. And if you're a parent, you tell your kid, you're not living to your potential. If you're a teacher, you tell your students you're not living to your potential. And you know this for yourself when you wake up in the middle of the night thinking, I can do better. And if you don't call forth the potential that is within you, the world does transform into hell, because that is its tendency anyways. And we have no shortage of evidence of that in the last 100 years, and even in today's world with what we are going through right now. Human beings are in principle made in the image of that Logos. And that is why we can speak things into being. And we do. And when you speak truth, you speak paradise into being. And when you lie or speak falsely, you speak hell into being. And what that means is with every decision that you make, you decide for yourself and everyone else whether you're gonna tilt the world a little bit towards hell or a little bit towards heaven. And that is the burden that we bear for our existence and the choices that you make as you pass through life. And it's the fleeing from that is at the bottom of nihilism. And none of this is fictional, because we have seen the consequences and we are living the consequences now. God, divinity, the universe, karma, evolution, biology, whatever you want to call it, has been telling us, and it's still tells us with what's happening right now, to stop cruelty towards life, stop cruelty towards this planet. The virus that we're experiencing right now started in Wuhan, China, and in a market that's called a wet market. And these markets are 1.5 miles long and 1.5 miles wide, where animals, exotic animals from all over the world are there to die pretty much. And I heard from a doctor that this virus, it's very likely that transmitted to humans in the moment of killing the animal. When I heard that, it made me really sad. And it makes sense in my head that the lies and the corruption that exists in the world it's paying back. The universe is telling us to stop. We cannot see this virus, is invisible to us and it's affecting not just the poor but the rich. It's affecting every human, or at least someone in your circle of humans around you. The lesson here, let's not do this ever again. But we can decide not to repeat something terrible unless we understand it. And the way to understand it is that, and this is very important, for me at least, the small sins of each individual, that means the small sins of me and you, culminate in the great sins of the state. And when you ask why terrible things happen in the world, the answer is quite simple. I'm not good enough, you're not good enough. And it's because we're not telling the truth. And we know it. What happens when you tell the truth? Everything comes together. And that is the potential destiny of the world. And it's something you can take part in. You can bring forth something like paradise by speaking the truth. And you can start in your own life, in the life of your own families. And that's the call to the individual. The suffering of being can redeem itself through truth, and is not a rule. Is the proper way of wending your way through the terrible world without making it worse than it already is, and with the possibility perhaps of making it better. And there is no higher moral demand than that. And you know this. You know when you lie according to your own conception of the truth. There is something shameful and demeaning about that, and you know it hurts people. Going back to the Logos idea, and here's where I want to bridge this idea with communion today. The infinite Logos that stretches across time and space come together in a single individual. That's the Christian story. And that's every single person is embedded in a specific time and place. That is you as an individual, but at the same time, you are the embodiment of this thing that has acted across forever to call potential chaos into habitable being. You are both this divine, transcendent essence in this finite shell that you inhabit. That's what I think Jesus meant when he said, "Take it, this is my body, and take, drink, for this is my blood." It's a call for all of us to embody the divine, the truth, the responsibility. Maybe the meaning of life is to be found in your voluntary willingness to take on that burden and carry it. That is the notion that is embedded in the idea of the cross. Pick up a full conscious knowledge of your own vulnerability, your subjugation to betrayal, your insanity, and your morality, and say, I bear that voluntarily. It's time for everyone to pick up the chaotic pieces of your life and to carry them voluntarily, and to make the way through the world and to try to speak truth and see what happens. It will heal yourself. It will heal your body, it will heal your family, and it will heal the nation. That's what truth does. And that's what I think communion means. So now it's time, eat your bread, drink your wine or juice. And that's it for me. Happy communion, everyone. Bye.